important for not just the people that come here.
I think Kleck's flexing his muscles. Kill Devil Hills. Never heard of it, but go over here, type it in, and just look at things that pertain to anything that may or may not. It's my entire name. What would be, when you see the first, it's my entire name. Okay, what? Kill Devil Hills? And then go down here, and you got Abaddon, Apollyon, Apollo. It sounds like a full name, like an entire name. And Austin came back for the people. Man, I thought about it. I did think about it. Enemy of lizards. Terrific job. New York sink or ban mines. I don't know. Does that mean New York is gonna sink? God alive on earth, absolute miracle. The true God name. 666 33. Mortal Christ. Supreme Dragon. So the true God name, well, if you think about Kill Devil Hills, that would be truly one of God's names because he would be killing the devil in those hills. Because those hills, they need to be laid low. How do you lay the hills low? You slay the devil that's inside of you, and then you help other people slay it inside of them.
You know, but everybody, for posterity's sake, said it. So, no, 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 no. I document all of it.
14.
Everything I document when it happens. The Lord told me to. He taught me to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll out some little clips for. Remember, I told everybody about the shipping containers. So what I'll do is I'll go show everybody. Well, the first really big,
1400 John
event
F.
he had
Kennedy
me do
Boulevard.
was the Grand. Do you like going to This Is It and doing the radio program? Everyone's like, oh no, Clark, you forgot the mic. I was like, okay, sorry. Do you know how insane all this is? Do you know how insane this is? There's no water in that riverbed. Look, let me show you something. Do you see any water right here? There's no water.
Fountains of water.
After I make the jump, there's a clear running stream. Hang on one sec.
Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth.
Carol Camping's world. This is what happened at that time. So the question is, how did that happen? Did I have a switch where I just pushed a button? I'm acting like I don't have control of the friggin' water in all Philadelphia, or was somebody else playing games with me, showing me that they have the ability to make things stay still because they are gods.
I want to show you something. Just go to
All those, it's like it was pierced. There's a little bottomless pits. And then back to this day, going there again. Same place, same time. What happens? There was never any water running all spring, summer long. As you can see, there's nothing there at all. Nothing. Fast forward. Over there at Chops.
Looks pretty real.
So at 8:47 and 8:48, so the first time all year that water starts springing up. And what does Barack Obama talk about at 8:47 and then going into 8:48?
There is a river whose streams shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacle of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her just at the break of dawn.
You ever think that people that play these roles, that have these roles, they're calling on the name of the Lord. They have situations they create that happen, and as they're going through, but then once they get towards the end, they actually start calling on the name of the Lord, and then things actually start manifesting to where that's actually true. And then it's hard to believe the person from before because it's like, we know you're full of crap. And then it gets to the point where, no, you see, the thing is, they're no longer full of crap because it's actually taking place, manifesting according to the script, how it is actually played out.
The nations raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Come behold the works of the Lord, who has made desolations in the earth. He makes wars cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and cuts the spear in two. He burns the chariot in fire. Be still and know that I am God.
I mean, what a coincidence. What a weird thing to have happen at 8:48, 2 times at the same place. 2 different scenarios. One of them is water never was running. All of a sudden, it's like, no, there's not a bombing at the 17th JFK on the back of a $50 bill. But there's water running for the first time ever all year long. And then going back again on Harold Camping's Day, October 21st, another similar situation happens where Kleck just wanted to show me because he was talking about going down to Harold Camping's world, and for some reason I just put 2 and 2 together. I was talking about there, and just to show me something that he can make things stay still.
I want to show you something.
Because I was suspicious. I was suspicious of the water streams already at that time, right there. So my awareness of something with the streams, unless I have the button in my pocket, is that something's... Yeah, you can keep an eye on the water there. Knowing something's up with the water.
I will be exalted among the nations. Be still and know that I am God.
And when you take Barack Obama and Joe Biden together, and then you take the twin system together, one of them playing out that end, the other one's playing out the other character. They're both in cahoots with each other. And then it happens where in Philadelphia, having a little strength, who's in Philadelphia? Well, from what I've seen, SpongeBob is there. SpongeBob's in Philly. Sandy, or what's her name? The whale, always yelling, being a big baby, is in Philly. Plankton, you know Plankton's there. He's always trying to rule the world. He's in Philly. This Garden of Eden type little oasis thing with 12 trees in there. One of them's chopped down. There's also a grave in the ground right there. That tree was cut down. Forgot to drive by it the other day to see what was going on. I believe there was an egg being eaten somewhere. Was that mouth of an egg? I forget what that was. But then you got the whole host body system inside like an X-ray. Just look at it like an X-ray. Going in, up. And here just has a similar look to Jonathan with the hair long down here. And it just looks like there's headphones for some reason. It just has like I guess it's because of these here. And then you see the square like that. But over here, it's looking like a piercing from underneath. And then you flip it around. Then it looks like the blood is dripping down. Either way, it's been spearheaded. This is being spearheaded. So with that looking like Johnny there in Philadelphia, playing this thing out as the Church of Philadelphia. But wouldn't that be frightening if the person playing the character actually turned into the biblical character in the Bible itself and then did represent the Church of Philadelphia? And I think that'd be pretty frightening for the people that know who he is, for sure. And the serpent is rising up from the sea, eating Johnny. Why is that? Because Johnny has a dead sheep behind his ear. And when you have a dead sheep behind your ear, if you have something like in your ear, it's communicating with you. It's a spiritual thing, communication. A dead sheep, the slain lamb is talking in your ear, like you have an earpiece. It's talking to you. So because obviously there's a Lord God being played out. You got the God of earth, God of heaven. There's a battle, king of the north from up above, battling the king of the south, the angel of the bottomless pit, king of the north, king of the south. I think they're probably maybe both speaking lies at one point. But there's a he-goat that comes from the west. And there's news out of the east that troubles one of those kings, because they hear that somebody's fighting with him. And so as all these passages are being played out in the YouTube world, then you know that there's as somebody, if anybody's claiming to hear from God, from before, and then now they're actually hearing from the Spirit, then that changes the whole mindset of that person. And whatever position you're in, if you're in a high position and you know a lot of people, but you changed your mind, but you have the power because you're in charge. You're in charge. Everybody thought that you were going to just slay, murder, destroy, kill, and eliminate everybody and anything, and the earth is going to burn up because it is reserved for fire. Just simply words. Just words. The Word of God is destroying the whole world. And one by one, they're getting plucked up. They're getting raptured. There is no singular rapture for anybody's spirit, because how do you know when you're going to get caught up and hear Christ? How do you know when you're going to get saved from yourself? Nobody does. It just happens. So you get plucked up. You're in the field, you and him, plucked up. Two men are in a bed. Well, even if it's two men in a bed, one of them gets plucked up and no longer participates in what they were doing. Two men in one bed. When you're in bed together, like in business, it doesn't mean you're sleeping with each other. It means two men are in the same bed. Like if Satan had his twin and one of them was divided against the other, then one of them's getting plucked up, the other one's left. The one's getting taken, the other one's getting left. That one's getting taken by the truth. They're taken back by it. And so they get raptured up, plucked up. Is there going to be a literal one? Wasn't there already? Didn't you guys already go up and see what was going on down here and look down like, wow, this is so cool? Did you not get all that information in one day that was as 1,000 years worth of knowledge? I don't know either. I'm just asking a question. If anybody had anything to do with that, then you would say, yeah, that was true. How did you know? Well, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, seeing if it sticks. A lot of times if certain things stick, then anybody that wants me to know any more information from that point on will help me understand it. If not, they'll try to throw diversions in my way and tactics that don't work. They may have worked before, but I guess it's like when you're at your best, you tend to know what spirits are. You tend to know the agenda behind words of spirits that communicate. And you see that, I mean, look, everybody needs to do their best to get to the end of this whole thing to see who can wake up to all the lies or not. If you can be deceived, even the very elect can be deceived. Even the very elect can be deceived if it's possible anymore.
You know how insane all this is? Do you know how insane this is?
They don't believe you. That's Jonathan, they don't believe you. They don't believe that you hear from the Lord. They don't believe that, because remember, I'm an outside observer looking in at this world script thing on YouTube, come across a bunch of people, seem to be playing certain things out. They seem to flex their muscles a little bit with how they know things are going to take place in this planet, which means they have some knowledge. But they don't believe you are telling the truth. They believe that you're making stuff up. You know why? Because some people know you as to how you can make stuff up. And it actually happens, but it's orchestrated. It's like a movie. Like, you can say in a movie that person over there got into an accident, car crash, but because the car is there, it's crashing and it looks like it. But in real life, you actually didn't go through that car crash, and it was kind of staged, but it did happen. So you can say, yeah, all these events happen, and then towards the end, which is what matters the most, it's not about the works from before as much as doing greater works towards the end, because towards the end is what matters the most. And so telling the truth, even though it sounds so far-fetched that you're just so full of crap, but it's really taking place, and the people that have known you, they're the ones casting stones at you because they know that you've made stories up. Because it's entertainment. What do you guys do for entertainment? What do you do? You can surveil people, and you can play little tactics on them, and you can say hello a lot. And when I recognize it, I like to communicate back without any agitation, without being irritated. Still working on that with my wife, trying to get that out of her head. But it's a process that happens. But it's really a strengthening kind of when people are impatient. And if you create things like taking things away, and it's like, oh, then good, and then stay impatient because you deserve it. So I understand how this gang corporation works, and I get the meaning of the evil intentions have worked out for the better of everybody in humanity when this whole thing changes. So whatever was, let's say they play out the 40 days and 40 nights. So they pick, because there's going to be an Ian, and they're going to pick somebody that they're going to play. So there's a leader, and the leader has his disciples, and then they're like, Jesus, oh Jesus, and then they're playing. They have the whole role played up for like 40 days to do the whole thing. Jesus is over there, that poor guy, talking to, because it ain't like he doesn't know that there's games being played. But what happens is this: everything that's intended for evil, they put the bubble wrap thorn of crowns thing on the head, and they have like the puncture things, and the blood that comes out, and then they have like the whole thing is set up where it's not that they believe that person over there is Jesus. The ones that are playing they're reenacting a Jesus scene. I have a strong suspicion that this has already taken place. It's already happened. There's like stunt doubles, there's actors, there's players, everybody. There's certain people think that it's real, but then on the other side it's not. It's all act and played. And there's doubles, there's clones, there's evil twins. And so the whole thing is set up for like a 40-day period. And they're playing, that person over there is picked out and being orchestrated by the one that, let's say, went through this before. Somebody had already went through the whole scenario, but now they're playing that role as the one that's, like, hey, Jesus, it's you. And then throughout the whole process, his disciples, they're all in on the act too. They're all playing games. But then what happens is, in the end, that person actually becomes Jesus. And then those disciples that were acting like they were his disciples, they actually became his disciples. Because throughout the whole process, what is intended for evil, God turns around and uses it for his benefit. Because all he has to do is just has to change people's minds that are in high positions to be able to do certain things that can help humanity. While everybody's already set up through the beginning of creation. And then it's God's turn to take over with the entire spirit of everybody that is around and has the ability to surveil behind the scenes more than anybody. So they would be the people that, when they take a hold of the guy over there, there's a guy also over there that they're gonna reach onto him and say, hey, yo, I heard God is with you. And because it's a Jewish man circumcised in the heart, could be a literal Jewish man too, because it was played out before. Like, hey, we're gonna go to that guy and say, hey, God, we heard God was with you. but God really wasn't with them. And then in the end, they're going to go to that same person and say, yo, I heard that God is really actually with you this time. I remember before, 3.5 years ago, we did the same thing, but he wasn't really with you. But now he is. And then it's like, that actually happens. Because everybody knows that this is all an act. Everybody's playing games. That's why when people do get converted for real, you're not going to believe it.
There's no water in that riverbed. Look, let me show you something. Do you see any water right here? There's no water. After I make the jump, there's a clear running stream. Hang on one sec. Okay,
I'll
so
show it to him, Clay.
I want to show you something because
I'll
I
show
told
him
you
what you're talking
after I went to set up the LZ. The first
I'm
time
the
to roll
LZ.
it
I'm
out
supposed to
to
get set up.
practice. I had to set it up once as a just roll it out, practice it. That's when
That
the
was a
Lord
practice shot.
had me find those rocks.
I don't know. I
Or
think you
no,
got like
maybe
2
that
minutes
I don't
left.
remember what. It's when he told me to go back and check on the LZ. But then he sent me to my room after I set it up. I went to my room
Where you at?
and he told me read Isaiah 25 and Isaiah 43. Watch this. Thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, that formed thee, O Israel. Fear not, I have redeemed thee, I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. Yahweh. He told me to go back and check on the LZ. But then he sent me to my room after I set it up. I went to my room and he told me read Isaiah 25 and Isaiah 43.
Like, in other words, read between the lines of what it all meant.
Watch this. Thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, that formed thee, O Israel. Fear not, I have redeemed thee, I have called thee by thy name. Thou.
So Click is reading Isaiah 43 as he went back to his room when a message was delivered in his spirit.
Thou art mine. Yahweh, my name is Yahweh, is given a messenger that rings the bell and gathers the church. When thou passest
The church of what? Well, over here, this is Philadelphia. And the landscape in Philadelphia, is that not everything that Kleck has been showing you in Hollywood and all the people that everything and everybody and most of you even know what I'm talking about? Because you're part of the inside. You have the inside knowledge. You've been assigned to my channel. You're here to mock me, play me, ridicule me. But in the end, this is the Schuylkill River. Things die here. It's like a Red Sea. It's kind of red there, actually. If you look at it, it's more red here than it is coming in. Ain't that unusual? Or perfectly executed? It's everything has to do with Philadelphia right here, this art museum. The building, rocky on the rock, split in two. It's identical twins, one side, the other side. The Jacob and Esau kind of thing. But the two rocky footprints, when you put them together, well, it represents taking the one person and realizing the first initial injected thought that is in your brain, usually, until you figure it out that it's Satan, is Satan. So don't listen to it. Let it go by. When you finally reconcile yourself back to yourself, you realize you've been allowing Satan, the spirit, to take control of you all the time. When you leave it in God's hands, which what is natural, and you pluck the thought up when it's going to bother you and leave it be and move on, you're no longer allowing that spirit, that little annoyance that is now so easy to just see it and cast it out and out of here. You can't even do that anymore. Satan, once you finally realize that you can do that, you now put yourself back together as the one person. Each one on the cross, you're the middle ground, you're the one that you brought both sides together. The little annoyant spirit doesn't affect you the way it used to. You stopped attaching feelings to people. You stop judging people. As soon as you stop doing that, you stop attaching your emotions to what they're doing or what they're not doing with what you wish that they would do. When you're trying to control somebody's life, when you can't get somebody to believe that you're a liar, not a liar. When people try to get you to believe they're not agents, when they are. When people have in their minds they cannot rest because they don't believe that they got you deceived anymore. So then that's when the anger comes in. Then that's like with two witnesses, like what Clark was saying, and if anybody comes to your door and so you start getting indignant about it, then, well, yeah, God really sent you. You're going to get mad when somebody doesn't believe you. So that opens up the door for not opening up the door at all. So the whole thing is being played out, and there's a part in the Bible where Mary Magdalene, whatever that represents, whoever it represents, representing the system itself, the being a harlot with these group of people, and then but becoming the Mary, the Virgin Mary, not being defiled by the system, being Mary Magdalene, where you could just have been accused of doing something because there's no evidence, because nobody's there, but you could be accused of committing adultery because you went with this host body system, and now you're with yourself, and that could be considered sinful in people's eyes, because it's considered sinful in people's eyes when you're married and you're having sex with your wife or your husband, and you're not married to a piece of paper, because a piece of paper didn't say, okay, you're good now. God's good. He's good now with you. If you weren't married and you were being with that person over there, even though you love each other, well, it's not good. You need this piece of paper. So give us some money. We'll say it's okay for you to do that, and then you won't be sinning. It's all balderdash. It's where the school, when you're being schooled by those rivers of water, it is killing you spiritually, which would be God's full name, because he kills the devil, and in all those hills he lays low until it basically just fades away and you can barely even see it anymore. So the harlot was judged, but the problem with people is they can't possibly believe that when Great Babylon falls, when it's fallen and fallen, well, it's been cast into a lake of fire, alive. The life was breathed into Adam's nostrils, and there's a breath of life that happens when it's death. It's death and life at the same time. You're going from death to life. You're actually being able to breathe for the first time in your life, because now you've let go of all these lies and all the self-preservation of whatever it is you think you are, and playing these games, and then the reality happens that it truly comes to pass, and then you repent, because it's like, why wouldn't I repent from what I know is a lie? And what's the point of trying to be worshipped by, like, as if I'm God or something? Why is that important with people? Why do you need to be worshipped as God? What's wrong with you? I want people to worship God, the Spirit inside of them, everybody, because there's many mansions in my Father's house, and if there wasn't, then I wouldn't say so. And there's picnic areas where people can just have a picnic. See? Sit there, have a pic. There's that bird asking for Karen again. Nah, she's not here. And then the bear trap. I'm just fascinated with the landscape, because it was here before Jonathan Kleck was born, wasn't it? And to think that that's you there? I mean, look at the similarities.
To let me know you did it. And now, if y'all don't believe me, do this. This will prove it right now. Just do this. Just go look at the video I did the other night.
Save the date. Coming up. 10 years. Friday.
This is the day that we're in. A very important time.
Days. Whether it's evening, morning, May 21st, or May 20th or 21st.
And I was so grateful because, I mean, my faith was on the line right there. And then that was Sunday. Monday morning, I went to my P.O. box, and it was one of those little Bible tract books. The identical Bible tract book was in my P.O. box.
May 23rd. Sunday. Is this the 2-3 bypass? Who knows? Who knows? What is a 2-3 bypass? I don't know. Something that bypasses you by. May 23rd. What's that, Jacob?
And May 23rd, just so you know, May 23rd, it's coming up. Mark it on your calendar. That's the day that the novel will be available. And I want everybody to go to Amazon too.
That's
if
when
you
the little
can do
hand
it, please,
rises
for
up.
me. If anything, working on the show, what do? I just take a break, and I'm at work, actually. I'm at work. I take a break, and I look down at my phone, and I see this. So here I'm like thinking, now first of all, I don't even know if that's real. By the way, I don't know if it's a literal cloud, but I think that it came from like maybe a year earlier it made its rounds. But you got to understand the
Walking
time.
with Enoch.
In my mind,
Enoch,
I'm going, well, maybe that cloud over the White House, maybe it really wasn't a hand. Maybe I'm just, seeing things. And then boom, I see that. Well, it's clear. That looks just like a hand. And it's a storm. Big lightning storm. Kind of like the storm that Elijah faced after he gave the message. And after, he proved God's power in the land. Because that's what he basically does. He says to all the prophets, because there were lots of them, right? Just like there's lots of them today. They may go by Christian channels. They may go by, channels in Islam. They may go by, rabbinical channels or Kabbalah channels or blah, 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 blah. Or they may go by all of these sects and religious channels, and you may think that leads to the same. It doesn't. It leads to God made in man's image. When you tell everybody, I want to talk to Ahab. Just like me sending an email. Hey, I want to talk to you.
The identical one that was in the middle of the street. Do you know what the odds of that are? That's 1 in 100 trillion. How in the world do you have a little Bible tract book that's in your P.O. box? That means when I picked up the little thing on Sunday, the one that was in the middle of the street, someone had dropped or it got there somehow.
First day.
There was already the same little book
day of the
in
first
my P.O.
month.
box. So he confirmed
Starting
everything
on
that
Sunday,
you put in those
Monday.
shipping containers.
We'll see.
Is right. So anyway, without going into all these right now, because right now I'm freaking out. I am right now. I'm in Kill Devil Hills.
Anyway,
Do you know why?
I know
Because
why.
everything I showed you was laying Satan's kingdoms bare. The only way to get out of here is you kill the devil inside of you. Of royalty, nobility, in chains. Because we are the royal infield, and we went out and we're in chains. Do you understand? So when I opened that mailbox, this is months ago, and I was literally on my way to go look at this R1 that it was an old used R1 that this guy Jason had at the motorcycle shop, and he had shown it to me, and I was like, wow, it's really in perfect condition, and I could have done an even trade. And when I pulled out, I didn't want to do anything wrong. I didn't want to get rid of a Royal Enfield that the Lord gave me. And it said, your Royal Enfield, for your protection, your Royal Enfield is being recalled to call back in. And I was like, that's crazy. So I went over there to get that R1. Guess what? The R1 was gone. Go over to where you got your trailer for your bike, which was a Triumph dealer. I ended up with a Triumph instead. I'm on a Triumph at the place where I literally can hold my hands in victory and say, I've triumphed over the enemy. It's when y'all see all the details that are involved in this, you're not even going to believe it. You won't believe the details.
Also, being in the Schuylkill River, or being a Kill Devil, Schuylkill, being on a rock, your hands up like Rocky, killing the devil. Now you can say, yeah, this is the devil because it's the flesh, and that's why you're convinced that you got to kill it, because if not, they're going to chop it off anyway, so you might as well just do the route where they're willing to do some kind of surgery for you. But truly killing the devil is killing it inside of you, killing the spirit itself, the one that has been running your entire life, making you do things that you don't want to do anymore.
Continue a little bit. So the Lord had communicated to me when I got rid of the Royal Enfield and I ended up on this Triumph. You're going to kill the Devil Hills with your Triumph. I like, that is so weird. Going to kill Devil Hills with your Triumph. I like, that is so weird. Well, I was going to Chinati, which is like the Garden of Eden with the Royal Enfield. Think about that. And now
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If you're it's like if you go to the desert or the garden with the Royal Enfield, what happened to this one? They got cut down, being replaced.
I'm going to kill Devil Hills with a Triumph. I was like, that's just so random. So weird. Well, I was going to Chinati, which is like the Garden of Eden with the Royal Enfield. Think about that. And now I'm going to kill Devil Hills with a Triumph. I was like, that's just so random. Like I said, God is in the details. When y'all see the details, you won't even believe what you're going to see. Now, after the Lord did that, I said, okay, well, I prayed and I said, if you really want me to do this, you'll let me know. And then there was a letter that very day in my mailbox that says your Royal Enfield, for your safety, is being called back in. The Royal Enfield has a recall for your bike. That's impossible. The day I was going to look at the shop.
So you got the so you received the message. That very same day. That's because mailmen, they go just by what they get, and then it gets there whenever it gets there.
That ended up being gone. That I ended up on a Triumph. It killed Devil Hills. Just wait. Okay, it looks like I'm going to kill Devil Hills.
Here. It's even the angle of that. I don't know if it's a coin showed all the angles, but the degree of where this 54 eyeball is to 1 is like that, like 1:30. In other words, if that was a clock. So on the way from that beginning point over here, 17th JFK, there's a little rivers of water in like a dry desert type of a nothing but rock place. But there was no water happening at all. But from this point back here is where the water was streaming up. Because even here, you can see the water. I don't know how long ago this picture is, but this summer, that's the only place that water came up from there and back at Love Park. So from that side back, and then the other side up. Well, if you get here with your Royal Enfield and you move your way up to Triumph to go and tell the old king that you got 40 days to repent starting May 21st, 2021.
If somehow you could just show me the devil get killed. That's what I said. I said, you know, it'd be really cool. Is if somehow I could just see the devil getting killed.